Salutations, one and all. This is my reaction interview to RWBY Ice Queendom Episode 8, Where You Belong. And I'm sorry this video is a bit late, but it has been a crazy couple weeks, seriously. Basically, 2 weeks ago I decided, hey, I should go home. So I did that, which was nice. Now I spent time with my family, went to Legoland, I rode a roller coaster for basically the first time ever. That was terrifying. Utterly terrifying. But fun. And then I got home and found an email in my spam folder telling me the paper I thought was due October 1st was actually due September 1st. So yeah, I've basically been writing nonstop for the last couple days, and I am utterly and completely exhausted. But I finally earned myself a little free time, and I'm super excited to spend it watching RWBY Ice Queendom. Seriously, last episode was freaking insane. Jaune, basically snuck into Weiss's dream and freed the sillies, all these little chibi versions of Weiss, who then turned into giants and started destroying everything around her. And then Nega Weiss responded by turning this into Attack on Titan as she brought the statue of her grandfather to life and had it start destroying everything around her, which, okay, that happened. That absolutely happened. I don't really know what it means, and my best guess is that the sillies are Weiss's version of her own, childhood innocence, the part of her that wants to be free and have fun, which her father told her, oh no, that is silly behavior. That's the kind of behavior that does not befit a schnee. So she, suppressed it down deep inside her. Now it's kind of going crazy and destroying everything around her, which, happens when you repress things. And, yeah, I'm not really sure what's going to happen now. I'm assuming, Jaune's going to die. At least in the dream, he's going to wake back up, in reality. Because, he served his role. He broke into the carnival. He freed the sillies. He got the yellow chess piece. Jaune's good. Jaune's done. He can take a very nice long rest now. Good for you, Jaune. But if you try to do anything else, it's probably going to end very, very badly. Right, let's get started in 3, 2, 1. Oh yeah, I forgot the Ren and Nora of this world are also, super creepy and brainwashed. That's terrifying. Very, very terrifying. Though Pyrrha doesn't seem to be affected for some reason. Maybe that's because of just how Weiss views her as, the puppet master, the true leader of the team, while everyone else just, being silly, not taking things seriously, not actually trying to become a true huntsman. Maybe. Okay, so was that Weiss protecting Jaune? Or at least protecting Pyrrha? Maybe? Interesting. Yeah, this is where Weiss went all god mode and turned her grandfather into a giant robot. Somehow. There we go, that's RWBY acting like a real leader, making a plan and deciding on it. And it's not a bad plan either. RWBY is pretty good infiltration. Yes, Blake is a freaking goddamn ninja, but RWBY's semblance lets her basically turn herself into particles and break through any door. She was able to, infiltrate the very empire, this giant city, that exact same way by flying like 30 feet in the air and breaking in through a window. So if there's anyone on the team who can, get into the building and open a door, it would be RWBY. And this is an important moment for Yang, too, to actually recognize her sister as a leader, as the one that has to make these big decisions. Ooh, okay, those are some creepy eyes. And just the sound of him moving. That is terrifying. That is overwhelmingly terrifying. Oh, and it's getting worse. He's attacking all little girls. By reversing gravity so they come to his hand, that's creepy. That's really freaking creepy. Oh god. Oh, that is sad. That's just really creepy and funny coming out of Jock, but that's also just so overwhelmingly sad. Seriously, Weiss's demands, or the Chibi Weiss's demands, are not that insane. Basically just, hey, I want to be able to talk to my parents. I want to be able to go outside. I want to be able to live an ordinary life. I don't want to be a freaking goddamn princess all the time. So creepy. So creepy. Though I do like that Weiss is about to attack her father. That's fun. Okay, now he's going full death suit mode. That's terrifying. That's not just a death knight. That's Very similar to the armor that Weiss fought at the, back in episode 1 of Ice Queendom. That's very interesting. It represents, not only her father, but the challenge her father set for her to be able to, leave the house and become a true huntress. Very curious. Yeah, that's one way to put it, seriously. I thought it'd be like a waste of a coin, but yeah, I feel like this is worth calling Professor and saying, there's a giant 60-foot version of Weiss's grandfather that's trying to crush all of the chibi Weisses who are also, huge and massive and insane, and I have no idea what the frig is going on anymore. She'll start resisting them. She'll start to resist them. There are giant versions of her childhood self running around the streets and a giant robot fighting them. At what point is Weiss going to realize, wait a minute, I'm starting to think this might be a dream. Seriously. Okay, I thought it'd be really weird if he murdered his own, granddaughter. But instead, they're just turning into snowmen and blowing... Oh no, they're exploding. They are actually exploding in his hand. That's worse. I assumed he'd crush them, but this is somehow worse. Oh, no, he just blew up some of them, and the other ones, he just dropped into an empty void nothingness. I'm guessing back to the carnival. Actually, that's a good point. I didn't think about that before. In my last video, I assumed that, Weiss did go to the carnival at some point, being brought by either Winter or her father and mother, trying to at least give the appearance of being a happy family, but we don't really know when her grandfather Nicholas died, so it's entirely possible that he was still around at a point to bring Weiss to a carnival, that he is the originator of this memory, and him, returning the chibi Weisses to the carnival is representative of that. Interesting. When did these two get giant? I totally missed that. I guess they're just giants now. Okay. And I guess the giants are just made of hot air so they can be blown up and reduced back to normal size. Because why not? It's a dream. This way you'll remain pure? That's an interesting way of wording it. So is Weiss locking up, her childhood dreams because, she doesn't want to spoil them. She doesn't want them to, face the grim reality of who she is, who she has to become for the sake of her family. That is depressing. That's very depressing, as is most of the things in Weiss's dream. Are you actually expecting to hurt this thing at all? I know it's a distraction so that RWBY can break in, but I don't think you're gonna even annoy this giant freaking monster. Oh, hit him, please, RWBY. Hit this goddamn bat. He deserves it. He really deserves it. I know real life Whitley has a whole lot of things going on with him, but Bat Whitley, Dream Whitley, he deserves a beating. He deserves a serious, serious beating. There we go. Oh, beautiful, RWBY. That was freaking goddamn beautiful, and I loved it. I'm gonna rewatch that. Man, she just sent that thing freaking flying. Yeah, I can't imagine Weiss has spent too much time talking about her little brother Whitley. Winter, definitely. I mean, she idolizes Winter, but Whitley, yeah, he doesn't get brought up all that often in conversation. Hey, you made it back inside the Shinny Mansion. Good for you. Why do I feel like they're not going to make it through the door? Oh, they did. Alright. Guess I just had a bad premonition there. And hey, Yang is really happy that RWBY managed to step up and actually get inside the mansion. I mean, it didn't really seem all that hard, but it was symbolic, of Yang realizing that RWBY is the team leader, that RWBY is the person that she needs to depend on moving forward, that she is the person that Yang needs to lean on, that Yang needs to support moving forward, and not just, baby her and say, "Oh, is my sister so freaking cute." Wow, and RWBY's even, remaining serious here. We've still got work to do. I love it. That is team leader RWBY right there. I mean, I've been saying this whole time, oh, it's so amazing to get this, deep insight into Weiss's character, but it's not just Weiss's character. It's RWBY, it's Yang, it's maybe Blake a little bit, less so Blake, but we're really getting, a deep dive into them and seeing their growth, and I really do love that. Hey, and they made it back to the Hall of Mirrors. They're doing fairly well, and they still have the chess piece, which will guide them all the way in. Huzzah! Unfortunately, Weiss has already dealt with, Ren and Nora and all the mini Weisses, so she'll probably show up and attack them again. And again, I have no freaking clue what this whole dragon path is supposed to represent. I mean, everything else feels like, it's fairly important, like it has some deep significance, but this is just a dragon eating its own tail. Weiss is trapped in cycles and patterns that are abusive or unhealthy. Maybe that's the best I can come up with for this. Oh, this is gonna be interesting, and yeah, she's not wrong. Jaune is really just one of the sillies. He is not the protagonist here. He's done some good work. He's been able to cause an impressive distraction and keep Weiss away from Team RWBY, well, the rest of Team RWBY, but he is really just one of the sillies at this point. Though, I should point out, Jaune is doing everything in his power to defend Pyrrha here. Pyrrha is strong. Pyrrha is overwhelmingly strong. Not just, in the real world, but Weiss knows that Pyrrha is strong, so I feel like in the dream, Pyrrha should be able to fight back against Weiss and, probably even outclass her, probably be stronger than her, because Weiss believes that Pyrrha is perfect, that Pyrrha is who she's aiming to be. So, yeah, Jaune, let Pyrrha freaking fight! Wow, are you freaking kidding me? We didn't even get to see Jaune get his butt kicked. It just, yeah, he lost. He automatically lost because, Weiss outclasses him so much, especially in a dream created by Weiss, who thinks so little of Jaune. I'm honestly amazed he can even stand up in this world. Oh, seriously? Pyrrha too? I mean, like I said, Pyrrha is strong, and Weiss knows she's strong, so she should be able to, stand up, stand her own, and fight back. Come on, Jaune, you didn't leave the door propped open. That is Prison Escape 101. You always leave the door freaking propped open. Yeah, I'm pretty sure the professor said, whatever you do, make sure the vines don't touch you, or things will go very, very badly. So the relics do actually seem to be a defensive measure of sorts. The relics have power, and wherever the relics are, the Grimm can't invade, the Grimm can't reach. The red relic was in their bedroom at Beacon Academy, and that was the place where Weiss kept the things she wanted to keep safe. Maybe the relic was actually, doing that work. The relic was keeping them safe. And the same for the yellow relic. She put it in there with the sillies, with those things that she cared about but couldn't really admit to. And now that Jaune removed it, the Grimm was able to, break in and start killing everyone in the cage. Which bad. Very, very bad. Yeah, see? The Grimm was able to get in here as well because RWBY removed the red relic, which just really raised the question, where the freak is the black relic? This has bothered me for a very long time, but, where is the thing that epitomizes Blake inside of Weiss's mind? Where would she keep it? What sort of other place would she want to protect? I do not know, and I'm very excited to see where it is. Oh, it could not be that simple. It could not be that simple. Is the black relic just where they started every single freaking time? That weird topsy-turvy sign? Oh my god, above. That would actually make a lot of sense, given there was a sign here where the red relic was, and there was a sign back there where the yellow relic was. Oh, I'm an idiot. So are Team RWBY, apparently. And that does also make sense, because that is, where the train is attacked by members of the White Fang, who are epitomized by Blake herself. So, yeah, that makes sense. That actually makes a lot of sense. I guess they just didn't realize they should, dig in the ground a little bit and find it. And, just all the arrows going in opposite directions probably symbolizes Weiss's inability to really figure out how she feels about Blake. Blake is all over the place. Blake is, a friend of hers, but also a member of the White Fang, who is an enemy of hers, and a faunus who she should hate, but, she likes her. So she's having a very hard time dealing with all of that. Well, that was a pretty good use of a door right there. Good for you, Jaune. Though this shot I stopped on is kind of terrifying. Seriously terrifying. Oh, poor Weiss. Poor Chibi Weiss. Okay, Jaune, here's a question. Do you know how to operate a train? I mean, there was a bunch of, robots on the train to shoot away at the White Fang, so maybe his plan is just to, fight back against the Grimm, but not so sure about that. Oh, the relic is on the train, I guess. It is a safe place being protected by one of the things that Weiss cherishes. In this case, Blake. Yay! Okay. Or is the relic Jaune's sword? Is Jaune something Weiss cherishes? That would be interesting. I mean, the sword was certainly powerful. It did a lot of damage, even though Jaune wasn't, really able to wield it all that well. So that'd be a good sign for the Jaune and Weiss shippers, I guess. Also, it's rather weird that Jaune had the relic at the start, but everyone else had to, go out and find the relic. Very curious. Okay, that was bad. I'm not exactly sure what that means, but it's bad. Very, very bad. Was the Grimm able to get Jaune and then follow the signal from the scroll to Ruby's scroll? I mean, I know this is, dream logic, but that is weird. Very, very weird. Oh, Ruby is infected as well. There's a little mark on her hand. That's bad. That is very, very bad. I mean, she was, cut by the thorns a couple episodes back, but the Professor didn't seem all that bothered by it, so I didn't assume she'd be infected, but maybe she is, so I guess we're gonna go into Ruby's dream next. Oh, that'll be interesting, and please, God above, let us see Summer goddamn Rose. Oh, there goes Yang. Alright. Sorry, Ruby, you lost your sister. Oh, there we go. Blake actually managed to do some real damage to the nightmare itself. Yay! And it is not happy about that at all. Oh, and there goes Blake as well. Great. Now we're just down to Ruby of Team RWBY. Oh, yeah, that's bad. Seriously, Professor Shiro, you didn't want to warn Ruby that maybe she might have been infected by the vine? You didn't want to give her a heads up there? Bad Professor. Alright, that's 2 relics. Now they need to find the black relic, which is either on the train or on the sign where this whole thing started every single freaking time. Thus kindly she scattered. There we go, Ruby. Able to use your semblance to trick Weiss into thinking that you were taken out. Good for you. That is a very good use of your semblance. And Jaune, good for you, Jaune. You somehow managed to make it to the final boss room. I was not expecting that. Though I am certainly impressed. They still have coins, though, don't they? Shouldn't they be able to open up a doorway back to you? That's kind of weird. So is that the home of the White Fang inside of Weiss's dream? There's a whole lot of symbolism going on here that I don't quite get, but there's definitely a cat-like figure in the front, so interesting. And I guess that's, human being held upside down. That could symbolize, Weiss said that a lot of, the corporate board members were executed, assassinated, killed, and that's what happened to them. Murdered by the awful, terrible, evil White Fang. Aww. It is so adorable. Here combing the hairs of the little Weisses while the rest of them watch on. Oh, I love that. I freaking love that. Wow, Jaune, that is a very mature and deep analysis coming from you. Impressive. I'll applaud that. I'll applaud that, Jaune. Good for you. Oh, poor Ruby. Don't cry. You're really, really trying your best, and Weiss is being, rather difficult. Oh, now that Chibi Weisses are going to come over and comfort her. This keeps getting more and more adorable, and I'm god dang loving it. Oh, no, that's bad. That's very, very bad. As the Grimm is eating Ruby's negative emotions and consuming her. So, not good, not good. Jaune, are you gonna notice, the vine spreading across her hand or not? Come on, you've been doing really good so far this episode, besides, your fight against Weiss, so please freaking notice this. And she's down. Ruby's down. Great. Seriously, Jaune, you should recognize the symptoms at this point. Okay. So that's I think that's a 7th door, or I've lost count at some point. It's interesting, there is a door here, what I assume is, the base of the White Fang. Very curious. Oh, bashful climb. That's one I think we were still missing. So, yeah, is Weiss bashful about her feelings towards Blake then? I have no freaking clue. Okay. Right, the doors aren't just there to protect people, they're there to imprison people. In this case, people who aren't allowed in the Empire, like the members of the White Fang. That actually makes more sense. Hey, she said the title of the episode. Good for her. Well, Weiss, how do you feel about this version of the city, this version of the perfect empire? Are you happy now? I can't imagine you are. And those vines, they just keep spreading and spreading. This is getting very bad, very, very bad. Also, Ruby's unconscious. Ruby's fallen into an evil nightmare inside of evil nightmare. Oh, they're going after Weiss's own chess piece, her own mind, her own everything that makes her, her. So, yeah, very, very close to the strike of midnight. That's so bad. I know I keep saying that, but this episode is a real downer. Oh, there we go. No more white chess piece. So that means the last chess piece belongs to Blake. Blake is literally the only person in the world who can save Weiss at this point. And, I don't really feel like she's feeling all that positively about Weiss, seeing, the forced prison that she forces all the minorities into. Yeah, that's bad. That is so, so bad. And so the stroke of midnight. Hey, Ruby woke up. I guess they were able to, break her free before the nightmare took control. Awesome. Okay, yeah, no, they didn't wake her up. This is a dream. This is a dream within a dream. They're going goddamn Inception on us, which I think we all saw coming, but still bad sign. Yeah, Ruby, you've got to realize that this is not real. There's no way they could have woken up Weiss without you. Oh, this is still a very touching moment. I like it, even knowing that this is going to go, full Cthulian nightmare very, very quickly. Oh, come on, Ruby. Please tell me you see the signs there. Please tell me you realize something seems a bit fishy here. Seriously, Ruby, they're all clapping in unison and you don't realize, hey, something seems a bit fishy here. Again, it just keeps getting worse and worse. Also, why the frick is your dad here? I mean, why isn't your dad here given the fact you're, diving into nightmares? I feel like having a parent here would be very helpful. I'm sure, Ozpin called Weiss's father, but he was too busy with work. But, regardless of all that, there are so many goddamn red flags. Ruby, realize that you are in a goddamn dream. I mean, in another dream besides the dream we thought you were in. Even Zwei! Why would Zwei be here? Okay, the chibi Weisses and the giant robots, they do not belong in reality. Well, okay, maybe the robots do, but not the chibi Weisses. Realize you are in a dream, please. And this also raises a good point. How exactly do you wake somebody up from a dream? Or how does a person wake themselves up from a dream? Because, before this, when it came to Jaune and their attempts with Weiss, they had to have their friends break in and fight the Grimm, for them. But Ruby doesn't really have that luxury unless maybe Jaune dives into her, but that seems unlikely. So yeah, she has to fight this Grimm, fight this dream by herself, which would probably mean, killing all of her close friends and family. That would be one way of dealing with this, I suppose. God, even the giant robots are clapping. Oh, I love that. Oh, and they've all been turned into dolls. Oh, and there's even a Zwei doll. Oh, I love that. Oh, poor Ruby. Come on, you're better than that. Don't let the nightmare consume you. Even though it's probably going to consume you. Very sad. Very, very sad. And still no freaking goddamn Summer Rose. Seriously, it brought in everyone Ruby loves and cares about to clap for her and applaud her, and the nightmare didn't think, hey, I should bring her mother into this picture. I'm sure she has some unresolved issues with her. Oh boy. Alright, so overall, pretty good episode. That really helped, address the fact that RWBY is a leader. She's able to make a leader decision, and Yang, listened to her. Yang understood, okay, RWBY, you're the leader. You make the plans, and we follow it. Love that. Unfortunately, the plan ended rather poorly when everyone got separated, and RWBY just felt worse and worse and worse, and let herself get, devoured by the nightmare. So I'm assuming next episode is going to be her fighting her way out of the nightmare, maybe coming to some own revelations about herself. I would love to see that. Like I said before, so badly want to see her just, address Summer Rose, see Summer Rose, see the nightmare take on the form of Summer Rose. RWBY would have to fight her own mother to escape the dream. Oh, that would be intense. That would be so overwhelmingly intense and insane, and I'd love it, and I would cry, and I'd love it. Meanwhile, Blake is dealing with the fact that Weiss is keeping all the faunus locked up in a tiny little house outside the Empire. Which, yeah, that's probably bad. Though at the same time, if Blake's relic is actually inside that house, inside that building, then it could mean that Weiss, actually does care about the faunus and wants to protect them in her own way, but just doesn't really know how to do that. I mean, the Sillies were locked up because they were something that was precious to Weiss, those feelings and emotions that she couldn't actually deal with. And Jaune just did an absolutely amazing job of summing all that up. I was very impressed. And speaking of Jaune, there's also the fact that his sword is also apparently a relic. Somehow. That is so overwhelmingly weird. Why would Jaune have a relic? I mean, I said before, maybe Weiss does actually care about him, and the Weiss x Jaune shippers are actually right. But even if that's the case, it just feels weird. It feels very, very weird, especially at this point in the story. The sword, though, does kind of have the same color palette as Big Nicholas, the giant statue, so maybe the sword doesn't really represent Jaune, but rather represents Weiss's grandfather, and that was the sword that he used, and Weiss is seeing something of her grandfather inside of Jaune. That could make some sense, I think. I also really do just love the theory that Weiss's grandfather was the one that took her to the carnival before he died. Oh, that is my headcanon. That is 100% my headcanon at this point. I love it. I freaking love it. Alright, next episode. Next episode, My Dream, Your Dream, which, yeah, that sounds about right considering that RWBY is inside of a dream, inside of Weiss's dream. And I guess they're going to flash back and forth between RWBY trying to wake herself up and Blake/Yang dealing with how Weiss views the faunus. I mean, the house was, pretty clear. There was a human being hung up outside of it, showing, the awful, horrible deeds the faunus had done to humanity. So that's going to be just really, really fun to watch. Oh boy. But please, let me know what you think about all this down below. Why did Jaune seemingly have a relic as soon as he, popped into this world? What is the meaning behind it? What's going to be inside of the mansion that holds the faunus, and what's going to happen inside of RWBY's dream? Is she going to have to deal with her mother? I would love to see that. I would so love to see it. Though, honestly, it would be a bit off considering that even in the main series, RWBY hasn't, fully delved into the feelings and emotions surrounding her mother's death, so it might be a bit early, but I would love to see it. I would so absolutely love to see it. And until next time, peace!